Of Sefer HaMitzvos study. And so what we're doing, I didn't get a chance to do yesterday's, so I'm going to cover that. And then for today, I'm going to cover the mitzvahs for today. Yesterday's were all about a woman who is a female servant, Jewish servant or slave. And if you want to hear what we talked about regarding this topic a little bit more, you can look into that from 2 days ago in our playlist for Sefer HaMitzvos. It'll be the other highest numbered video. The situation here is for a woman who is a Jewish slave to a Jewish owner, and the way this would work is that she had been sold into this by her father. She was still living in her father's house, and her father sold her into this. He was in a pretty bad spot, obviously, to sell his daughter into such a situation. But remember, there are a lot of all these mitzvahs. The mitzvahs aren't like so much to protect the owner of a slave, but to protect the slaves in such a situation, because this was common practice in the whole world at this time. Anyway, so first of all is positive mitzvah 196. And that is that when a owner of a Jewish female slave release, or of any Jewish slave, once they've released them, according to Deuteronomy 15:14, it says, "You shall surely provide him from your flock, from your threshing floor, and from your vat. You shall give him from what God your God has blessed you." So you don't allow him to leave empty-handed. You give them a good start for living out again on their own, and not having you feeding them, etc. Remember, we're really talking about more like a, sorry about all the movement here. We're talking about like an indentured servant, somebody who's paying off a debt. And so that's why they're in such a situation. All right, negative commandment 233 is the opposite. So previously, the other one was you should give him or her, blessings as they go, like giving them food and supplies and all that they need. This next mitzvah is the negative version of that, which comes from Deuteronomy 15:13, which says, "When you send him away, you shall not let him go away empty-handed." And so this is the negative commandment, that you should not let them go away empty-handed. All right, next, Exodus 21:8 says he must let her be redeemed. So this is positive mitzvah 234. Now we're talking about a female bondswoman. And so a person who acquires a Jewish maidservant must allow her for her redemption through the various methods prescribed by the Torah. So she could pay to get out. Her father could pay for her to get out early. Anybody can come and pay for her to get out early. And they're not transferring her ownership or anything like that. They're simply paying the redemption fee to get her out of this situation. Positive commandment 233 is that there is a commandment and a positive opportunity to marry your Jewish maidservant, to elevate her from the situation of being a maidservant to being a wife, a real wife, and having a true family, and not being in debt to you, etc. It says Exodus 21:8. It says, "If he did not designate her for himself, then he shall enable her to be redeemed." So he doesn't. He's not, God forbid, keeping her forever in this situation. So it's a non-binding mitzvah. You don't have to do it. For the master of a Jewish maidservant to marry her if she consents. This is always the case. There's no marriage without consent in Jewish practice in Torah law, or to wed her to his son. So he can also give her to his son if she's closer in age to him, and if she would want to marry the son. This mitzvah takes precedence over the master's obligation to allow for her redemption, and this only applies when factors like the Jubilee is being practiced, the Yovel is being practiced in the land of Israel. Okay, and finally for this lesson, Negative Commandment 261, reselling a Jewish maidservant. You can't do it. Exodus 21:8 says, "He shall have no power to sell her." One who acquires a Jewish maidservant is not empowered to sell her to another master. Can't do it. This is not, we're not talking about the kind of slavery that was going on, for instance, in early Americas, etc. All right. Now, lesson 287. We're starting out with positive commandment 235. This is, thank you. So this is regarding a Gentile who's in this form or this situation. And so Leviticus 25:46 says, "You shall have them serve you forever." So one who acquires a Gentile slave must retain his servant services in perpetuity. The slave is only granted freedom in the event that the master causes him personal injury. And so I'll read you a little bit more here because this probably needs more explanation. The 235th mitzvah is that we're commanded regarding the treatment of Canaanite servants. And so this is a term, Eved Kanani, is not used for servants literally from Canaan, but any non-Jewish servant who has been circumcised and immersed in a mikveh and with the intention of becoming a servant. So they're kind of quasi-Jewish if they agree to be in this situation owned by a Jewish owner. And so they are keeping most of the mitzvahs. They are maybe in a situation similar to a Jewish woman where they don't have to keep a lot of time-bound things because as a servant they have to serve their master. All right. So it says that we should have them with us forever, going free only in the case where the master struck them and caused them to lose a tooth or use of an eye. The same, and there's actually 26 different things that are spelled out in oral tradition. So we're not just talking about eyes and teeth. It's a lot more than that. So the point is he can't abuse them. He ends up taking a loss if he does. So it's in his best interest to treat the servant well. The source of this commandment is God's statement, "You shall have them serve you forever, and if a person strikes his male or female servant in the eye, tooth, or the tooth, he shall set the servant free in compensation for his eye and compensation for his tooth," etc. In the words of the Talmudic tractate Gittin, anyone, hold on just a second. I am going to, okay, here we go. Okay, sorry about that. My browser decided to close on me. In the words of Tractate Gittin, anyone who frees his servant transgresses a positive commandment, as it's written, you shall have them serve you forever. The words of written Torah itself show that he must be freed upon the loss of a tooth or an eye, and there are further details, etc. Okay, now we're moving on to negative commandment 254, second to last for the day. Returning a runaway slave who flees to Israel. So Deuteronomy 23:16 says, "You shall not deliver a servant to his master." So if a servant runs away, you might think, "Oh, I got to return him to his master." Nope. It's forbidden to return a non-Jewish slave to his master, even if he is Jewish, the master, if he has escaped and fled to the land of Israel. Rather, the slave must be given his freedom, and he must compensate his former master for the loss. So if he runs away, he does have to pay the monetary value from, like, if he, like, how he was, bought in the first place. He has to reimburse that to the master, but he does not return to the situation. Obviously, he ran away because he was being mistreated, and so the Torah forbids that. And but it was all happening probably behind closed doors. Nobody knew about it, and the slave ran away for his freedom. This is because the slave has come to find refuge in the pure land that God chose for His esteemed nation. And finally, negative commandment 255. By the way, when the Eved Kanani, when they do get released, in whatever way that happens, they end up becoming a full-fledged Jew. They've already gone through immersion. They've already, if they're male, they've already been circumcised while they were a servant. They agreed to it, and then finally, they now, in being released, now they take on all of the time-bound commandments as well. So, and finally, negative commandment 255. Hurtful words to a runaway slave. Deuteronomy 23:17 says, "He shall dwell with you, do not oppress him." So now this one who has fled and is now a freed slave is forbidden to humiliate that person. It's forbidden to verbally distress or humiliate a runaway slave. That would probably, I don't know for a fact, but that probably even means you're not allowed to remind him that he was a slave. Though it is forbidden to humiliate anyone, that's already a mitzvah, especially a convert, which he is also a convert, or excuse me, if he was Eved Kanani, he would be a convert. But in any case, and so this could be breaking up to 1, 2, or 3 different mitzvahs if you do humiliate him or distress him in any way. So one who does so to a runaway slave transgresses those prohibitions as well. All right. So with God's help, we will be back after Shabbat for one more mitzvah, and then we're making good headway here. I'm not 100% sure if we're actually getting out of the section on servants just yet, but we don't have too far to go. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day and have a good Shabbos. Bye-bye.